One of the most commonly used tools in all solid modeling is Extrude. This tool requires you to provide a sketch and then give that sketch a thickness. I want to demonstrate making an extrusion. We will use Inventor to create a simple block as shown. Pick New from the Inventor ribbon beneath the templates in the left panel, select English folder. In the right panel, select Standard IPT. You have three planes that you can start modeling on: the XY or front plane, the XZ or top plane, and the YZ or right plane. Notice that you can view those planes by selecting the view cube in the upper corner. There are different ways to enter commands in Inventor. I would encourage you to use the @the_cursor method. I have the XY plane selected and pick the Create Sketch tool to begin making my sketch. Starting a line from the origin point, I sketch a rectangle. At this time, I'm not worried about the size at all. After my rectangle is finished, I pick the Finish Sketch tool and then the Extrude tool. Here you see the Extrude dialog box as well as the @the_cursor tools. They are the same thing. It's important that you understand the direction of the extrusion. Select the arrows and notice the preview. It's usually a good practice to keep a plane in the center of your part, so I often use the symmetric direction. I specify the extrusion distance to be 1 inch and pick the OK to complete the block. Now I will create another simple block, but this one will have a hole in it. Start a new part file using the standard inch IPT template. Start a new sketch on the XY plane. This time I will use the rectangle tool to create the rectangle. Next, sketch a circle for the hole. Again, I'm not worried about the exact sizes at this point, just using some sketch and extrude tools. Pick the finished sketch and then pick the extrude tool with the profile button turned on. Pick inside the sketch to define the shape. Set the thickness and direction and pick OK. Consider a shaft part like this. How would you create this? Start a new part file using the standard inch IPT template. Start a new sketch on the XY plane. This time, use the circle tool. Pick the finished sketch and then the extrude tool to set the thickness and direction. And pick OK. How would you approach making this part? This will require a few steps. It is always time well spent thinking about how best to approach your models. Start a new part file using the standard inch IPT template. Start a new sketch on the XY plane using the line tool. Sketch the shape of the main block. Extrude it by slitting the direction and thickness. Pick the front face of the block and start a new sketch. Sketch the circle for the boss. Extrude the boss by setting the direction and thickness. Make sure the option is set to join. Next, pick the end face of the boss and start a new sketch. Sketch the circle for the hole. Change the extrude option from join to cut and set the extents to all. This will force the hole through the entire part. So in just a matter of minutes, we were able to create 4 different parts using the extrude tool. It's important to understand that you can sketch on origin planes, part faces, and user-created planes. Remember, extrude requires you to create the shape and then give it a thickness. As always, if you have any questions or comments, please send me an email or give me a call. Thanks.